Donald Trump has asked white South Africans to come into the US as refugees. They are saying thank you, but no thank you.
The South African situation is very, very dangerous and very bad for a lot of people.
I don't think it's reasonable. I don't think that he should say that, like, there's a reason to flee.
We are, as South Africans, a resilient people.
He should have actually come from the Americas to South Africa to come and see what was happening for himself.
So why is Trump asking white South Africans to come to the US? Can South Africa survive Donald Trump's aid cuts? Is Trump punishing South Africa for its anti-Israel campaign? I'm Ananya Datta for Hindustan Times. Let's get some answers. We have to start over 400 years ago. That's when European settlers started to arrive in South Africa. At first, there was just the Dutch East India Company, but newfound riches brought new looters, like the British. And over the years, land grabbing became a fundamental tool for colonizers. Like the 1930 Native Land Act, it gave most farmland to the whites, leaving just 13% to the blacks. Then in 1950, a law removed 3.5 million black people from their ancestral lands. Cut to today, many of these colonial remnants exist in South African society. 3/4 of the privately owned land in the country are still in the hands of the whites, who make less than 8% of the entire population. On the contrary, the blacks, who make 80% of the population, own just 4% of privately held lands. Long story short, President Cyril Ramaphosa signed a bill last month addressing this divide. He was expecting backlash from some of the opposition, but not from someone sitting 12,000 kilometers away. US President Donald Trump took to his Truth Social platform with a bold statement. He said, and I'm quoting, "South Africa is confiscating land and treating certain classes of people very badly. The United States won't stand for it. It will act. Also, I will be cutting off all future funding to South Africa." So basically, Trump did three things. One, accuse South Africa of human rights violations, cut all funding to the African country, and opened his American doors to only white South Africans.
There's no such thing that I've read or experienced or seen on our social media in South Africa that really has a connotation around white people being mistreated in this country. He should have actually come from the Americas to South Africa to come and see what was happening for himself, and not just take the word of an Elon Musk who hasn't lived in this country for the longest of time, who doesn't even relate to South Africans.
This isn't the first time Trump has made claims about land seizures in South Africa. Back in 2018, while he was still in office, he alleged that white farmers were being forcibly removed from their land. Years later, he's reviving the same rhetoric. However, the evidence on it is still nil. So it begs the question, what's at play here? It seems to be a series of pressure points between the US and South Africa that led to this day. Let's address the obvious one, Israel and Gaza. Within 2 months of the war starting, South Africa took Israel to the International Court of Justice, accusing it of committing genocide. It obviously didn't sit well with the US, which has been actively funding the war in Gaza. The ICJ is yet to issue its final verdict, but the US Congress is one step ahead. They want to punish Cape Town, even if it comes at a larger cost. Then, as always, there is geopolitics. The United States is accusing South Africa of pursuing closer ties with China and Russia, two arch rivals of the United States. It's not a lie. Ramaphosa is on a tightrope, like many other African leaders who are forced to choose a side. Cape Town is treading cautiously, holding military drills with Beijing and Moscow, but also fulfilling its role as the largest African trading partner to the United States. leave ties between South Africa and the US. While Trump has pulled the plug on all kinds of aid being sent to the African country, it's not just Cape Town that needs Washington. It's also the other way around. Over $9 billion worth of US exports go to South Africa each year, and about 600 US businesses operate within the country. Also, let's bear in mind that South Africa is one of the few democratic bulwark in Africa where many others are slipping towards a fake democracy. So Cape Town acts like a window into the large continent. Then, of course, there is China. The country is already South Africa's largest trading partner, and if the balancing scale is going against the US, it's definitely going in favor of China.
We are witnessing the rise of nationalism, protectionism, the pursuit of narrow interests, and the decline of common cause. This is the world that we, as South Africa, a developing economy, must now navigate. But we are not daunted to navigate our path through this world that constantly changes. We will not be deterred. We are, as South Africans, a resilient people, and we will not be bullied.
From the looks of it, it seems like Trump is setting the stage for a more aggressive foreign policy towards South Africa. But with Trump, we always have to ask, is this about land or leverage? Human rights or political gimmicks? Straight talk or a bargain yet again? Maybe South Africa could take some learnings from Mexico, Canada, and Gaza.
What the changes in India's population and the differential growth rates.
This city has emerged.
We have a very special guest on the record.
The interview.
The role that the US side played at that point of time.
पूरी दुनिया की नजर.
Assume my phone is tapped. I can probably say hello to Mr. Modi.
आपके भारत पर है.
Episode of Know Your Candidate.
The rising confidence of India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Communist China is the greatest threat.
There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremist.
I'm still a little perplexed by why we.
Your daily dose of news from India and across the world. Cutting edge views and analysis. Tune into HT videos. Click on the bell icon to subscribe.